going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is RuffledRowlit. Welcome to a brand new video. Let's talk some rumors and leaks. We're going to be starting things off, of course, with Riddler Khu. You guys may know Riddler Khu. He's been posting a bunch of stuff. For those who do not know him, he's a legitimate Pokemon leaker, and he has a bunch of information. But I'm going to talk a bit slower. In the last video, I spoke too fast, and some of you guys complained. First things first, though. We have a post from Pokisutami. Now, Pokisutami is someone who is very good at Japanese, and she does a lot of translations. And this time around, she noticed that Game Freak, the company that makes the Pokemon games, has registered a trademark for this specific word, Pandorand, or Pandorand. Or Pandorando, I don't know. The trademark covers various usages, including video games, etc. So this could be just simply something to do with, I don't know, the Pokemon TCG, for example. But it is an interesting one that's happened, though. She has here that, as for the meaning, as far as I'm aware, this is a never-before-used term for the Pokemon franchise. By itself, it has no meaning. In this way, it is land, and could be also Pandora, as in Pandora's box. It's a stretch, but the Pa, which is this letter, and this one, Ra, could be referring to paradox as well. So paradox, you know, like Pandorand, I guess, could be paradox, right? It could kind of make sense. Speaking of Pandora's box, I almost feel like, and I could be wrong, you guys can correct me about this in the comment section down below, but I think there was something in the data mines from the DLC that had something to do with like Pandora's box, something like that, unless I'm mistaken, or that's like an old thing I'm kind of connecting to this. But this was shared by Rapid Info, who's like a Japanese like platform, and they specifically shared this trademark. People are saying like different things. For example, here Jan says, actually, it's this, so it's about a land of bread and bakery. And then they just say they're just kidding. But again, it's a lot of like weird stuff. People are trying to like see if it could be a combination of Pandora and land. So literally a Pandora land, which is strange. But yeah, we don't know what this trademark is, but I just wanted to bring it up and mention it because it's important to keep these things in mind as these things may resurface later down the line. But also this could just simply, I'm going to put it bluntly here, it could just be like nothing. It could literally just be a Pokemon like TCG thing, right? That's like literally what it could be. But let's move on to the next one. So this is the post that have been made by Riddler Khu. Simple explanation, he's a legitimate leaker. He puts out real leaks, but he doesn't actually give the information directly. Instead, he makes riddles and puzzles for us to solve to get the information. And he's tweeted a lot of stuff lately. So I thought we'd start with this post right here, where he says, whose BST is higher? And he has Arceus, and he also has Terapagos, right? He has both of them right next to each other, and he asks, whose base stat total is higher? And then people have just got, you know, different theories saying that, you know, I wonder if their equal is an option. That would be really ironic, lol. And do they buff any starters like Empoleon by giving him competitive? But yeah, it's again just people theorizing on what they want and don't want, but it is a bit of a weird question he's asking. Is he trying to imply something? Because if you think about these two Pokemon specifically, all of them have, or both of them, sorry, have a connection to all the Pokemon types. Arceus created all Pokemon, so probably is one of the Pokemon behind the logic of typings, unless Terapagos was the one who actually created the typings in the world, and every Pokemon before that was just regular, or normal. I wonder, but it's a bit of a weird thing. I don't know what he exactly means by this. I don't think I've seen anybody with a concrete solution. If we look here at the engagements, we look at the quote tweets, many people just haven't been able to figure much out about this. I haven't really seen any good theories about it. This person did share this, though, saying there's a chance, saying that basically the legend plate, when used on Arceus, the legend plate changes it to the normal type, like the blank plate. And then basically, you can see right here, to unknown signature move Hidden Power. In battle, Arceus gains the ability to change the type when using Judgment based on the selected opponent's typing. While selecting a move, Judgment displays the type that it will become against the selected opponent. If used that turn, this is similar to unknown signature move Hidden Power. This but defensive. And then here's Centro said, normal form Terapagos ability cannot be suppressed by neutralizing gas, and Terastall form Terapagos will have a defensive ability. Terapagos' Terra ability, Crystalline Shell. Whenever attacked by a move, its Terra typing will change to one that resists or is immune to the move. That'd actually be pretty interesting. So here, I guess, is an interesting kind of concept of that. So you have a Terapagos. So basically, Landorus use Earthquake. Terapagos turn into a flying Terra type. And then here, again, like, you know, Terapagos is not affected by Earthquake. So yeah, that's basically kind of the concept they're going for here. At least that's what they think. Again, don't know if that's the case. Interesting situation nonetheless, though. But he did say that Terapagos is going to be defensively strong. That's something he's mentioned before, so we're going to have to wait and see if anything comes from that. But again, I thought it was worthwhile to bring up. Then, of course, we have a few other things. Like, for example, if we go back to Khu's actual tweets, if we return to like what he's been saying, there's another tweet he made about Terapagos, which a lot of people have been talking about. It's this tweet right here, saying its ability is dope. And if we look right here, we have a bit of a, I guess, a bit of a breakdown from none else than Soul Silver Art, who is a leak analyst, who basically said, Khu may have answered a previous riddle for us. It all depends on if the Scarlet and Violet book, the Terapagos, is a literal third final form, or if it's just a Terastall Terapagos using this third ability and the 19th Tera type. Either way, it seems Terapagos will get 3 or 4 new abilities. My hope is that Dipplin 2 will get the final new ability. We already know Arcaludon's ability, though hidden abilities still play a factor here too, but maybe it's Dokutaro. Now, for those of you who do not know who Dokutaro is, it's this brand new, probably mythical Pokemon. It's this like little purple peach looking thing that is more or less a poison type that is kind of taken over the mind of people and Pokemon and influences them. Like, for example, Kieran is most likely influenced by it, but let's move on. So he says, maybe, however, it also makes sense that it could just be just have Toxic Chain, like the Loyal 3, leaving Dipplin to have something new. Dipplin's current ability is pretty lame, but upon evolving, it could get a new ability that already exists. An old ability, or this brand new ability. Who knows? Anyway, right now it seems that Terapagos' ability will go like this. 1. Normal form protective ability from at least neutralizing gas. 2. The Terastall Terapagos, a very defensive ability. And 3. The final four Terapagos, or the Terastall one, with a third ability. Dope, lol, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. My guess is this ability will be similar to Ogerpon's one. Khu's definitely beating around the bush, lol. So yeah, he's not really giving us a clear answer. This is referring back to an old tweet where he said, how many abilities does this one have? 1 or 2 or 3 or more? And so saying, reminder, Sadachi 2 only got 4 new abilities according to Datamine. Hint, only 2 new Pokemon got these 4 abilities. Strange, right? Very strange. And then, of course, he had some stuff like, you know, its ability is dope. That's the tweet we looked at a second ago. And then somebody said Ultra Necrozma kind of ability. He says, ability-wise, could relate. And who would you save? And I think Momo's ability is overt now. So, a bit strange, but nonetheless, that is his theory, to be fair. I don't really know what else to add to that one, but that's what you got from that. Moving on, though, we have this post from Khu as well. And now you guys may have forgotten about this, but there's supposed to be a 19th Tera type, specifically a Tera type, not a regular Pokemon type. We're not getting a sound typing or whatever typing you might be expecting, a cosmic one, whatever. We're not getting that. We're not getting any form of typing like that. This is going to be a temporary thing, similar to Mega Evolution, similar to, well, Terastallization, similar to Dynamax. It's just a temporary thing within this game. The question, though, is, what is this thing? How does it function? What is the purpose behind it? What kind of typing do you become? What typing is this 19th type good against? What's it going to be called? Well, that's specifically what he's talking about here. What's the authentic name for this type? We can't call it a number all day, every day, right? Picture unrelated. And then he has Omni-Man here, which is random. That's from Invincible. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But yes, it's a show on Amazon Prime. I'm just giving them free promotion at this point. But basically, he just shows a picture of the Tera Blast having that new icon with the brand new, like, 19th Terastall type. And we don't know what that's supposed to be. What's the actual name of this? You know, that's the point. Like, it's just a bit confusing. And then here he says, Kek, you nailed it. And then you can see people here on 4chan posts saying, I like that he doesn't make the riddles anymore. He just scrolls VP and makes troll posts. But yeah, he is kind of like being a bit goofy, this guy, Khu. But there is something that's being said here, though, that was interesting. And this was from Jan. Jan said, maybe he has a weird unrelated type name, like Marvel type or Stellar type. And then here he responds with a, I guess, a Chinese, like, specific term, saying, Xinjiang, I guess, and then, okay, I know what it is now, laughing face. So I guess this gives an answer to exactly what's going on. And actually, I was hit up by Jan. Jan actually messaged me, and I have some stuff that I can share with you guys and some I can't share, but the one thing I want to share is that basically what Jan says was more or less this, if we just jump over here to the actual post. Jing can mean star in Chinese. Team Star used this exact character. Likely they want to make it a bit more different from Team Star, so they added a second character, Jing. Conveniently, Terastall is called Taijing in Chinese, which Jing means crystal. So here we have it. The name of the 19th Tera type in Chinese likely is called Jingxing. Oh my lord, this is really hard when I haven't tried doing like Mandarin in years, so I don't even know how to pronounce these things, which means star crystal, right? So that's basically what they're saying here. The name is going to be something like Star Crystal, right? Something like that. Star Crystal literally would be it. Or like a star typing, I guess. You could literally call it like a star typing, which we've already speculated in the past, like back in like Ultra Sun and Moon about the possible star type in Pokemon Stars. But I guess that's kind of what's being said here by Khu. He more or less said it out loud, but just not, I guess, fully clear exactly what he means. But yeah, interestingly enough, what I'm being told here by Jan is more or less that it's going to be a star type. And what Jan also said is, if you actually look at the thingy, you technically do have a little bit of a star shape on the top of the crowns, or whatever you want to call it, on the new Terastal forms or whatever. Like, we've seen this, so it kind of actually fits well. Like, if you really think about it, it fits well there. Like a star typing, or I mean, I guess the name might be a bit different. Like, think about how Terastal is like, you know, terrestrializing Terastal. It's the word Tera, terraforming, right? It's going to be something like that. So star forming or whatever. Something along the lines like that is most likely what the name is going to be like. Again, this is all speculation, but that's most likely what this 19th type is going to be. It's going to be something like that. And like I said, it's going to be temporary. It's not going to be a permanent thing. We're probably not going to see this thing in Generation 10 or future games and stuff like that. Not even in remakes. I'm not expecting it much. But yeah, it's just a temporary thing we have for now, probably don't have in the future, which is unfortunate, but hey, it is what it is, you know? Man, it's what it is, it is what it is. But either way, moving on to the next thing. So here we have a bit of Soul Silver's thoughts on this. He says, 19th type, multi-type, rainbow type, shining type, cosmic type, star type, that's one of the ones. Stella type, stellar type, those actually sound pretty decent. Wish and wishing type, dream type, diamond type, crystal type, paradise type, shield type. Out of all the options, due to Aku saying the Omni-Man pick is unrelated, probably means that Omni type isn't an option. So I guess, yeah, I guess he's trying to imply that that wouldn't make sense. But again, out of all of these, the ones that make the most sense would probably be 19th type. He literally says that that's not what it's going to be called. Multi-type seems a bit too on the nose. Rainbow type, again, I also think that's a bit too on the nose. Shiny type, I think that would conflict with shiny Pokemon. Cosmic makes sense, Star makes sense, Stella makes sense, Stellar makes sense, Wish and Wishing type makes sense as well. Dream doesn't make much sense, but I guess it would make sense if you're trying to make the argument that all the Paradox Pokemon, for example, are like made out of dreams, which again, it's not like a good enough combination. Diamond type might make too much of a connection to Sinnoh. Crystal type, again, the Crystal games might make it a bit confusing. Paradise type is actually a cool one. And Shield type, again, not really feeling that one. The Paradise one, though, the Stellar, Stella, Star, Cosmic, those make sense. Rainbow type maybe could work, but I don't really know. Dream type, not feeling that one either. But a lot of these are actually pretty decent namings. And you guys can see, oh, a really good option too. You can see Kayla says, watch it be Celestial type to go with the Ed Sheeran song, but really though. Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty funny if they did do that. And then Jan says, you make me wonder how that will work in Japanese and Chinese. I'm currently guessing a Star type or a Stellar type from the hints Khu gave in the reply to that thread. That's at least what we're also getting from this. It seems like the Star typing makes the most sense, even based on like what I was told by Jan themselves, saying that, you know, like it seems like the word Jing is literally just Star. You know, so it makes the most sense, right? It just makes the most sense. But either way, moving on to the next thing. So, we're going to talk again about the ability being dope on this thing. And he says here, now I've been telling you all 4 new abilities. New moves are dope too, so Dachi less than 1 month now. And then again, people asked him, Ultra Necrozma kind of ability. Ability-wise, it could relate. So, again, it's a bit weird. And they do have a bunch of responses here, which I can't translate because I'm not going to get a correct answer from just translating this. But basically, as Amashino says here, Defensive Turtle, Dope Terra Shell, Hydra Multi-Heads, and Master Zombie. Those are the 4 ones that he's kind of expecting, right? So 2 of these would be for like Terrapagos, one of them would be for, I guess, Diplin's evolution, and the last one would be for Dokutaro, which is the little, like, you know, like the little zombie peach-looking purple thing that poisons everything. At least that's what we're like kind of looking at. And you can see Jan also says, is it an ability that has the same function as old abilities or a combination of old abilities? Like Embody Aspects, Teal Mask is basically Interpret Sword, or Recalum Pulse is a combination of Drought and Photosynthesis. So yeah, basically, is it like, out of the 4 abilities, is the ability of Terrapagos' form of this specific Pokemon, like this version of it, this like final form, this giant ball version of it, is that form specifically, okay? Is that specific form going to have a brand new ability for it that's a combination of multiple. And maybe that's why he says 4 new abilities, but one of those could cover a lot of bases. So that's kind of what we're looking at, but let's move on to the next thing. So this is a big one that he posted. Are you ready? He says, are you? So are you could be in a lot of different things. Are you could be rarely used. That's something from, for example, Smogon. And then we have a picture of 2 shiny Pokemon. We have shiny Enamorus, and we have shiny, I forget, geez, one of them is like Glastrier, and the other one I don't remember the name of. But basically, it's one of the horses you guys may remember from the Crown Tundra, right? The 2 horses that Calyrex rides upon. Well, these are 2 shiny versions, and I think officially there is no way to get these 2 shiny. As far as I'm aware, there is no way to get them as of right now. So it seems like this might be the case here. Also, we have a full explanation. Before we go into that fully, we do have a full explanation here from Jan about that previous thing, saying, feel like I should explain it a bit more clearly. According to Kay, Xinjiang should be the Chinese name of the 19th type. There are numerous combinations for this possibility, so if you don't know Chinese, the odds of you deciphering this message is very low. In the numerous character combinations that fits this hint, if we write it in this way, then it will remain Star Crystal or Star-shaped Crystal. Don't you think it looks just like what's in this image? What do you think it will be called in English then? My personal guess would be Star or Crystal, because that sounds dumb. Star type even makes you think it's related to Team Star. It also makes no sense to directly call it Star Crystal in English. A type name gotta be a one word that rolls on your tongue well. So again, it seems like basically, again, going back to that whole point, that it's going to be a kind of a weird version of the word star. That's kind of what we're looking at right here. But let's move on back to this though. So we have these 2 images and it's not very clear. Is he talking about competitive, or is he talking about the fact that these 2 are shiny and asking us, are you ready for this? Are you ready to catch these shiny? And this is where I'm a bit lost. So here is what Soul has to say about this. Shiny Spectre, my beloved, or the new Dokutaro reveal trailer soon. So many ways this could go. 1. The method to get older legendaries in Indigo Disc might allow us to shiny hunt for them. Maybe that's what's being hinted here, because these are 2, I guess, legendary Pokemon, sort of. This is great news considering the state of the Indigo Disc. 2. One of the new legendary Pokemon will have a pink/red shiny and be shiny locked. That would be unfortunate. 3. A new non-specific trailer could be, again, because the are you ready, that's the part that's a little bit confusing. Is he asking us, are we ready for the game the DLC to release? Are we ready for a trailer? What exactly is he asking us if we're ready for? But either way, he says, a new non-specific trailer could be coming next week/soon. Khu said he would tease it when he got info. And these both have the colors of Dokutaro, which is true. They both are colored like Dokutaro, the purple, or pinkish purple, Peach Pokemon, the poisonous one, right? The one that we've been pretty much confirmed by now is actually going to be showing up. So that could be the case too. He says, 4. These 2 Pokemon are just some of the legendaries confirmed to be returning in the Indigo Disc. But why would he post their shinies, right? That's the weird part. 5. Maybe this is a hint to PK Hex feature that can make shinies. So what he means by PK Hex feature is that, for those who do not know, PK Hex is a program. It's a program you can download on your computer, and if you do some stuff that you probably shouldn't be doing according to Nintendo, you can send your save file and stuff over to PK Hex on your computer and modify aspects of your Pokemon. You can change them to become shinies. You can change the Pokemon's stats. You can change everything. Like, you can basically modify and create Pokemon from scratch and just put them into your game, and those are considered hacked Pokemon, aka PK Hex, Pokemon hacks, right? So the thing is, we have been told by Riddler Khu there's supposed to be a new feature in Pokemon Scarlet Violet's second DLC, at least that's what he's been hinting to us, that's going to serve a similar feature, in a similar way, like a similar purpose rather, not feature. It's a feature that's supposed to serve a similar purpose to PK Hex. That is basically what he's told us many times before, and we've never really gotten an answer to that from the past. We never really saw that in the first DLC, so most are expecting it to be in this one. So, is that what's happening here? Is that what he's hinting, but these 2? Kind of implying that that's what we're gonna get. Maybe not. 6. Maybe there will be distributions of these 2 shinies in the future. In some weird way, this seems like the most logical one, but honestly the one I least likely think is related to this post. The "are you ready" is kind of sus though. Might have a bigger meaning, or it might not, lol. All I can think of is Smogon, are you? Exactly, it's the same thought I had. Literally the exact same thought I had. Is that it just, like, in my head, all I can connect it to is rarely used, right? RU, like Smogon's tier. And if you don't know what this means, Smogon is basically just a community that puts together rule sets for Pokemon matches, and RU is just one of the formats, right? If you, for example, you might know OU, which is overused, or Ubers, or whatever, right? And Smogon RU is just rarely used, so that's maybe what he's hinting at here as well. But honestly, who knows? I just do not know. Somebody even here, Prisma Rex said, Dokutaro gets 2 forms, just Copium. I don't think that's going to be the case, but who knows at this point? Anything is literally possible. I mean, hey, you know, it's all up in the air anyways. Moving on, though. So we're done with all of the Riddler Khu posts because we've pretty much gone through most of them. If he does post something else, we will go into it as per usual. We will cover it if there's anything worthwhile to cover. But for now, we have some other stuff we're going to talk about real quick. But before that, guys, please do subscribe if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But we are 100 subscribers away from 5,000 subs. If you do, it will mean a lot. Either way, let's get into this one. Now, I'm just going to leave this here. And this is basically a post about specifically Pokemon Legends Arceus and some connections to the lore that we see in Scarlet and Violet and the lore we see in Legends Arceus. He says, I'm just going to leave this here. Sapiens, a brief history of humankind, the cognitive revolution, Kogita, right? Did she know? Seems like Game Freak has been playing with this theme for a while now. You guys can see right here, Kogita, perhaps the red chain's purpose is to let one see creation as it truly is. Creation exists only because our minds are there to perceive it. Which is true. Does something truly exist if nobody's there to observe it? That is actually, it's kind of a thing, I think philosophically it's like something people bring up. But yes, one might even say the world, time, space, all creation exists only because our minds are there to actually perceive that. She says, what, so does the mind create the world, but isn't the other way around, or is it? Like, basically, it's this whole concept that Scarlet and Violet, what we see there, the paradox forms, everything around them, that it's all from imagination, right? But then here, they're kind of questioning that by saying like, hey, you know, is it possible that creation in itself only exists, like things only exist because we can perceive them existing? Holy shit, this is getting philosophical, way too much for a Pokemon game. Either way, here we see Soul saying, a huge thank you to Mad2K for sending the Kogita conversation to me. I think it's a direct connection to Scarlet and Violet's Area Zero mystery and the hidden treasure of Area Zero. And here, he actually has a big post about this, saying, okay, Khu help me out, but I think that I cracked this. This is about his previous riddle. He wanted us to battle on whether we think if the whole Area Zero plot will be about time travel, imagination becoming real, or if it just won't be explained. This book is a brief history of mankind according to this author. At the beginning, he talks about one of the biggest moments in mankind's history, which he called the cognitive revolution, which is basically the moment that cavemen became thinkers and dreamers, developed language, and used their imagination to create folk tales, religions, and etc. I won't explain it all because it's perfectly summarized below. Just read the pictures I've attached. I mean, the amount of times imagination is mentioned, which yes, there's a lot of mentions of imagination in these deals, in the games, just the base games, which makes you again think that whenever we do return down to Area Zero, when we find the truth behind all of this, it will maybe be explained by just the concept of, you know, it wasn't even time travel, it wasn't imagination, it was all of it at once. Because time travel is invented in your mind as well. And maybe the concept of, or the thought of there being a time machine, literally the idea of it brought it into existence, in this case down in Area Zero. Again, that's just a little bit of the stuff. But the question still remains, do you agree with this book? Khu isn't saying we should agree with it, he's leaving it up to us to decide and battle on which side is correct. And this refers to a post where he said, do you agree on this book, especially the first part? And then, dang, now I'm going to have to go read this entire book to solve this riddle. Just the part of cognitive revolution. And then, of course, you guys can see here, the first major revolution for sapiens was the cognitive revolution. Before that point, sapiens weren't particularly special among animals. Over time, they had evolved the abilities to cross oceans and invent things like bows and arrows, sewing needles, oil lamps, and art. They had become humans that we recognize today. With our level of intelligence and creativity, but until cognitive revolution of 70,000 years ago, they weren't superior to other humans, right? Although we use the use of fire hastened sapiens' ascent, it was the cognitive revolution that basically brought it all to the table. So again, it's an interesting concept. Like that all of this would be kind of, in a weird way, explored within the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet games. But nonetheless, I think it was worthwhile to bring up. And it's just worthwhile to talk about this. And yeah, again, we're going to move on to the next thing because this one's too deep and I don't have the time to go through it all now or to read the whole book or anything like that, but let's move on to the next thing. So here is actually a really cool thing. So this is a post by SMA, so shout out to them here on Twitter. But basically, like they said, or they basically posted this saying, the crew on the first modern expedition down to a great crater of Area of Paldea, sorry, their mission to verify if the folk tales of treasures and otherworldly Pokemon truly exist, and to uncover the mysteries of Herba Mystica and Terrastall. There's just really cool fan arts of what like these guys could look like if they were younger. You know, Taras, like, you know, Sada, Turo, as well as Clavel, and of course Jacques. All them, like what it would have looked like if they were younger going down there. Pretty cool concept. I just wanted to share that. I thought it just looked really cool. That's pretty much it. But yeah, moving on to the next thing. So this is an interesting one. So you guys may know Junichi Masuda. Well, he made another tweet, and this time he's found himself in Amsterdam. Now, I'm going to point out that the reason he probably was in Amsterdam for this specific photo yesterday, this was posted yesterday, is probably because there is that currently within Amsterdam, there is currently a quote-unquote like art exhibit with I forget the name of the artist. It's a famous artist, very, very famous one. I totally forgot his name though. But basically there's an art exhibit and a collaboration. Oh, it's Van Gogh, right? Or Van Gogh, or whatever you want to say. But basically him, or not him, but basically the art exhibit of his art are doing collaboration with Pokemon, right? And they gave out like these Van Gogh like Pokemon cards and stuff, and there was a whole chaos, and people were like, fighting to buy them, and it was a whole thing, right? I think the reason he's finding himself there might be that reason, but, big but, very, very big bunda, but the reason I bring this up anyways is because of what, well, Sol has to say, and the fact that any time that Masuda travels somewhere, and you can say whatever you want and disagree on this, but anytime he's traveled somewhere, and he posts pictures of that country, oftentimes, there's a weird level of hints and connections to the next generation of Pokemon. The same thing happened with Sword and Shield. There was a picture of him with a sword and a shield making a joke about it like a few months before it was like announced or something like that. And he's done that in the past. And again, you can disagree with me. That's totally fine. But sometimes he does leave these weird hints. So we're just speculating, but what if they base the next generation on the Netherlands and maybe even Belgium, because you do have the Dutch-speaking part of Belgium, which I'm currently in, called Flanders. So what if they do that? I don't know. I don't know if that's like a high chance of happening, but I will say this. The Netherlands love Pokemon. People in the Netherlands are obsessed with Pokemon. It's very, very popular there. Very, very popular. I know a lot of people from my audience are from the Netherlands. Shout out to all of you guys, and also to the Belgians. But I know a lot of you guys love Pokemon, so I wouldn't be that shocked if they decided to base it off of that. It wouldn't be that crazy. Before I would have thought it, but now that I've lived here, now that I've like, you know, seen that they decided to do a region based on Spain, Portugal, the UK, they can go anywhere and do whatever they want. And maybe that could be like Generation 10 could be there. So let's see what Sol has to say here. Back in the day, I would be losing it over this. Can you imagine a Dutch region for Generation 10? I feel like I would have to at least, I feel like it would have to at least include Belgium because it'd be such a small but beautiful region. Well, not necessarily. There's a lot of stuff you can technically, if you use all of Belgium, there's a lot of locations you can kind of use for it, though there'll be no mountains in this game. All of this region would be just no mountains. It'll be flat as hell. But either way, but it's important to remember that Masuda isn't directly involved with making Pokemon games anymore. Not necessarily, but he still has some involvement, of course. He works at the Pokemon company now, but he still is, actually, he might even have more involvement, maybe not on the directing scale, but definitely with the promotional scale. Either way, there's always a chance, but he probably wouldn't be on a research trip for the next Pokemon region. Though if he goes to Italy from Amsterdam, I might have to share some of my conspiracy theories. We should really be following other random, not random Game Freak employees that may be taking secret trips to other countries to help us determine what Generation 10's region could be based off of. Right now, we haven't heard anything, so I'm seriously considering that Gen 10 might be a return to a new Japanese region. And then here, it's another picture from him. Euromasters Rotterdam. I was actually there. But Euromasters, I'm still slightly suspicious of this trip though. A Dutch region full of flowers and tons of canals and tower spires would be so incredible. Interestingly, you kind of have a bit of a connection there. If you think about it, the Netherlands is famous for its like giant, what do you want to call them, windmills, right? There is one specific windmill that I can remember from Paldea, and that is at Brassius's gym. Pretty sure he has like a giant windmill there, which I always thought was a little bit strange. But then again, there are also, I'm not going to pretend as if the Netherlands are the only place in the world that has windmills, but I always thought it was a bit strange. And I don't know, I feel like there's an interesting connection that can be made here. But nonetheless, it says a Dutch region full of flowers and tons of canals and tower spires would be so incredible. Fun fact, I used to spend about 2 months in the Netherlands every summer for 5 years. So this country has a special place in my heart. Well, hey, good for you, Soul. But I'm right next on the border. I'm over here in Belgium just chilling and vibing, talking about Pokemon every day. Oh boy. Either way, that's pretty much that. Let's move it on to the final thing, which is just this cool post by Ondu Region, where he made, well, basically his Paradox versions of these two fellas, and this is Iron Trapper. I just thought I wanted to show this because I thought it looked cool, and that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I want to thank you all guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe if you want to. If you don't want to, totally fine. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out and bye-bye.